Hello, welcome to Borderline Obsessed Travels, where I'm trying to get to every U.S. state, highpoint, tri-point, county, and national park, because I got nothing else going on. This video is mostly just a bunch of national parks between Roswell, New Mexico, and Los Angeles. Enjoy! I'm in Roswell, New Mexico, and they are really getting their money's worth with this whole alien thing. I just got to Carlsbad Caverns National Park. I have tickets to go into the cavern, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. So you can hike down or take an elevator into the cavern. I decided to hike down because I'm not a big fan of elevators, so I was like, I'll just hike. Turns out I'm not a big fan of caves either, so both options were scary to me. It was about a mile and a quarter of walking very downhill. The cavern is 755 feet below the ground. It's beautiful, but just something about it freaks me out. I took the elevator to get back up though. I didn't want to walk all the way back up. A lot of it's not that steep. The path to get down there, if you decide to take that path, is very steep, but once you're down there, a lot of it is not that steep and a lot of it is accessible. I'm at Guadalupe Mountains National Park right now, which is where Guadalupe Peak, the highest point in Texas, is located, so two birds with one stone if I actually make it up there. I think this is about an 8.5-mile round trip hike, but more strenuous than Virginia or Oklahoma.
Not too much further now. Let's see.
This is Guadalupe Peak, the highest point in Texas and the 14th highest state high point in the U.S. at 8,749 feet in elevation. It took me about 4 hours and 45 minutes to hike Guadalupe Peak round trip. It took a little under 3 hours to get to the peak. I was doing that at kind of a leisurely pace, and the first mile and a half is the steepest, but the whole thing is steep. It may not look like much, but that little dot in the center of the screen is a Marfa light. I'm in Big Bend National Park in Southwest Texas. This park is huge and I'm only going to be spending a few hours here, so I'm going to try to see as much as I can in that amount of time.
Oh, okay.
I just got to White Sands National Park outside Alamogordo, New Mexico. This became a national park in 2019, but it was designated a national monument in 1933. It's surrounded by the White Sands Missile Range, which is still active, and the main road into the park and a chunk of the highway is closed when they're doing active testing, which happens once or twice a week for a few hours at a time. Yeah, there's a bunch of gypsum sand dunes, and apparently you can go sledding. I did not buy a sled, but I've heard you can use a cardboard box as a sled, so I do have a cardboard box with me that I could break down. This box I've been storing food in is going to be my sled. Cardboard box did not work very well. I recommend buying a sled. I just got to Saguaro National Park, which is named for the saguaro cactus, which is the type of cactus that has those arms, the very stereotypically cactus-looking cactus. There are 2 districts to Saguaro National Park, one on the east side and one on the west side of Tucson, Arizona. I am at the east side right now, which is the Rincon Mountain District. Saguaros start growing arms around age 60 or 70, but tall ones with lots of arms like this can be over 150 years old. This is the High Jolly Monument in Quartzsite, Arizona. High Jolly was a camel driver hired by the U.S. Army in 1856 to run experiments to see if camels would be suitable for the U.S. Army to use in the American Southwest. I'm at Joshua Tree National Park in southeastern California. This is the area where the Mojave and the Colorado deserts meet. This is Bombay Beach, California, a community located on the Salton Sea. It's the lowest community in the U.S. at 223 feet below sea level. It was a popular beach community in the 1950s up until about the 1980s, when increasing runoff caused the Salton Sea to become too salty to realistically sustain wildlife anymore. At this point, Bombay Beach was mostly abandoned. People do still live here, but most of the structures here do seem to be abandoned. But there are a bunch of neat art installations and sculptures on the beach itself. And a bunch of the abandoned structures in town seem to have been turned into art too. It's pretty cool. Go check it out if you have the chance. Hope you liked it. See you next time. Subscribe if you want. Don't if you don't. Bye-bye.